Alright. How's everyone doing? Let me just make sure I can go live on Twitch right now. And I'm live on Twitch as well. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well. I am doing well, thanks for asking. I am live streaming today. I'm playing some FIFA 09. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Bear with me while I make some changes to the lineup. Gonna have Suarez just come out of the bench just for today. Uh, make some changes to our lineup and have some of the reserves play. And yeah, that'll be it. Let's go ahead and play the match. First, so yeah, I'm playing some FIFA 09. We're 5-0 right now in our career as the manager of Ajax Amsterdam. So yeah, so far so good. That's a nice save. So I think it was a save. So yeah, we're in first place. We're 5-0. Alrighty, we're playing FC Groningen. I don't know any of the players for Groningen. I'll be the first one to admit that. I know Kenneth Vermeer, just because I've played some of the FIFA games. I know a lot of these players from FIFA. I actually know about Luis Suarez. Because I've been watching. I haven't been. I've been watching for soccer for years. So I actually knew Luis Suarez before I actually played this game. And I know Klaas-Jan Huntelaar from watching Ajax, so. And some of the older FIFA games as well. Don't remember what difficulty I put this as. I know we're undefeated right now. Five wins, 0 losses in the Eredivisie campaign. The Lord has the ball. There we go. We managed to actually score with Ramendal in the 9th minute. So we're up 1-0. That's good. Ajax is my. If you're new to my YouTube or Twitch channel, I am in terms of soccer. I prefer to watch Ajax and Real Madrid. Those are my two favorite teams. Those are the two teams I actually watch the most. So I started watching Ajax in like 2020, and I started watching Real Madrid a year or two later. I did attend a Real Madrid game when I was on vacation to Spain. So that was really fun. Bear with me. Let me make a note of something. Let me pause it really quick. So. Yeah, I attended a Real Madrid in 2019, so. And that's another goal for Romandal. So he has a double now. He has a brace. One more for a hat trick for him. One more goal and he would have scored a hat trick. So it's been a while since I played FIFA 09. Don't remember the last time. I think it may have been like September actually. It's currently November 13th. So I know the international break is going on in real life. World Cup qualifying. So we score with Leonardo there. In 3 confederations, I believe. I want to say Africa, Oceania, and South America. Or Asia, Oceania, and South America. Or Asia, Oceania, and Africa. Are like the next other ones having a... 3 of those 4 confederations are having World Cup qualifying matches this month. And I don't think there are any World Cup qualifying matches or any, there may be some international friendlies for involving North America, but I'm not entirely sure. And Europe is the Nations League as well, so for Europe. So the World Cup qualifying hasn't started I think Europe's the only Europe's the only continent that teams can qualify where World Cup qualifying hasn't started yet. So it'll start in sometime in 2025, actually. So should be interesting to see who will go to the World Cup, actually. Let's make a substitution, actually. Let's have Tstashe and De Jong come. September or October, I don't remember when. I know it's been at least a few weeks since I played FIFA 09. Don't remember when the last time I played FIFA 09 was, but I know it was within the past 2 months, 2 or 3 months. Ramadal scored again for us. It may change the difficulty if I'm being honest. And make it a little more difficult. So after this we'll have one more substitution to make. And I'm going to make that substitution in the second half, or at halftime. Unless a player gets injured, I'm going to make it at, before then, which I really doubt. Ah, shoot. I know Suarez is leading our team for a goal scored. Ajax is doing significantly better this year than they were last year, which is good. They're playing better as well. I think they finished in like 5th last year. And we're currently in 3rd, but the way we're playing, I know 5th place doesn't sound too bad, but the way we were playing was disappointing for Ajax, and surprising I say we, but I'm not a part of the Ajax squad. It's surprising that Ajax actually finished just finish as high as they did based off how they were playing. So, but they're playing better now, and they're in third place right now, and it's surprising how low they are because they're playing in third, and I think it's PSV that was undefeated until they played Ajax. But Ajax, you'd expect it the way we're playing, you'd expect them to be first or second. Maybe second or at least tie for first with PSV, but no, that's not the case. So we're in third behind PSV and FC Utrecht in the Eredivisie standings. So I'm gonna take a look at how many games each of our players has played in the Eredivisie, and if there are any that have not played, I will actually um, play them next game. I'm going to make our final substitution now. Offside, so. So Groningen made all their substitutions now. So yeah, unfortunately for me, there won't be any Ajax or Real Madrid soccer games this year, or this season. Or, I mean, not this season, or this year. I mean, this weekend. So. Romandal has 5 goals to his name now, so. Ah, shoot, we committed a foul there, so. Don't think that'll be worth a card, though. So one downside about making my subs so early is that if there is a card, we have to play him. If a player gets a yellow card, we have to play him for the rest of the game, and we have to be really careful with him. Uh, so he doesn't get a yellow card. Or another yellow card. Ah, shoot, we allowed a goal. Man, it's a good goal by Meerdink. Don't get me wrong. But see, we're gonna score again with someone other than Romandal. And we did. With Leonardo. That should be his second goal of the game. So. Okay, so what's match details? Who scored him in how many matches? So Leonardo, Asati has a goal. So Leonardo has 2, Asati has 1, and Romandal has 5. That should explain the amount of all 8 goals. So. Offside. Unfortunately, so. Oh, that Groningen player was offside as well, so that's good for us. And that's a bad pass. Offside by De Jong. Goal wouldn't have counted had it would not have counted had it gone in, so that's really nothing I can do about that. So I'm sorry for starting 3 minutes late. We stream on Twitch at 3 p.m. I start at 3:03, so I usually aim for a 3 o'clock start. So yeah. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not sure when you're watching this, but link is in the description to if you want to see me live and see what time I stream in your time zone. I don't know what time. Whoever's watching this on YouTube, I actually don't know what time zone you're in. So, so if you're watching me on Twitch, you know, whether it's the Twitch replay or the live, I have much more content on my YouTube channel. I'm going to have Stream Elements link it now. So, there it is. I have much more content on my YouTube channel. So, if you want to follow me on YouTube or subscribe to my YouTube channel, much more content. Hopefully that you'll find interesting. So just go with someone other than Romandal. So probably butchering the pronunciation of his name. So sorry about that. We are up 9-1 though. There we go. We scored with Leonardo. He has a hat trick. So he's the second of two players to score at least 3 goals in this game. It's 10-1 now, and chances are we're not going to lose this game since it's the 90th minute. I have to make like... They'd literally have to make 10 goals from like the halfway mark now to actually... from midfield to actually make... just to take the lead, so... Let's get that out of there, so... Let's see the amount of minutes for extra time, so... There we go. We got the W. We got the win. Yeah, no surprise that he was the man of the match. He was the MVP. Yeah, it's the crew. So we won 10-1. Let's see statistics. Player stats. So Satsi scored 3 goals in 3 games. Everyone has played at least 1 game. Although no one's played in all 6. Right, so Ramondal is now in first. So we have earned second for goals scored. So the top 7 players all play for us in terms of goals scored. The clean sheets. Stecklenburg. I know Martin Stecklenburg from when he played at Ajax, and I was watching. Ranks 4th. Yellow cards. Unfortunately, Vermaelen has 2. Red cards. So Romedal has 1. He's the only player on our squad that has a red card. Any of our other players, at least if they do have a yellow, they're not listed in the top 20. So, player stats. So it's Klaus-Jan Huntelaar has the most goals for us at 13. So yeah. No, right now, no back or goalie has scored for us. But you would kind of expect that, actually. So yeah. Let's play the next match. It's against AZ Alkmaar. Gonna be an away game for us. Game settings, let's try the semi-pro level and actually see how that goes for us. Let's have Vertonghen play 1 game. And then Lindgren can come in for can come out for, I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then Donald can actually play a game as well. He's a center midfield, so we can actually have him switch out for Gabri. And those are going to be our substitutions for our changes for the match. Pre-match changes. Now we'll be making using up all 3 substitutions as I do every game. I said Alkmaar's in 7th place. We're in 1st, thankfully. Do not know any of the players. I don't recognize like any of the players for AZ Alkmaar. I know Stecklenburg, Huntelaar, and Suarez from I actually didn't learn about those players from the FIFA games. The rest I do, so. So this is at least 1 setting difficult. I don't want it to make it too difficult too early on. At least do the semi-pro difficulty for a little bit, so I won't, that way it won't get boring to win like by 10, 11, 12 goals every game or something like that. Because it'll get boring if it does that. I think. This would be a little more competitive, so. Manuelson got possession for us. Fortunately, we lost it. A foul. and a free kick. There are a couple of at least Dutch players I think that are in this game, if I remember correctly, that I know will eventually go on to become head coaches. I think Johnny Heitinga, who at one point was at least interim manager within the past couple of years for Ajax. I think he may be a back for a Dutch team in FIFA 09. So towards the end of his career. Erik ten Hag, I think, may be another former coach. Ajax coach that was a player in this game, so in the Eredivisie. I'm not sure if they are in this game, and got Suarez. Dang it, we missed with Luis Suarez. So. I thought we had scored with him, so yeah. Erik ten Hag and Johnny Heitinga, I think, are the only former Ajax coaches that are players in this game that I know of off the top of my head. Maybe Alfred Schroeder. We're getting close now to scoring, but we haven't scored just yet. No, Luis Suarez is still active. I think if I remember correctly, he plays. I'm not sure which team he actually plays for. I want to say either PSG or Inter Miami as we give up a goal there to AZ Alkmaar. Since Dembele scored. I recognize that last name, but I don't recognize the player. Stecklenburg and Klaas-Jan Huntelaar have since retired since this game came out. Stecklenburg actually, I think, if I remember correctly, retired at the end of last season. We scored a goal there with Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar retired, I think, maybe a year or two before Stecklenburg. So, but I did watch Huntelaar play for Ajax. I know he didn't play solely for Ajax, but I did watch him a little bit. And I don't remember which FIFA was the first FIFA I got, but he was in the game for Ajax when I was playing when I got it for the PS2. So let's make a substitution. Let's have this guy come out, the center midfielder, because he's more of a striker. So let's have Van der Heijden. I probably butchered his name, but he can come out and make our next substitution at the half. And yeah. Wanted to play FIFA 09 a week or two ago, I just didn't have the time. Or at least, I don't remember why I didn't play it, but I wanted to stream it and I just didn't. So, thought I'd play it today. Still tied up at 1. We gave up the first goal, so if we had done better defensively, we'd be winning. Done a little bit better offensively, we would still be winning even with the goal scored, so... Shoot, I did not expect him to actually come back and actually... take possession. I thought Luis Suarez would get it, so. Obviously, we're playing on a higher difficulty, so it's going to be a little more difficult. I just wasn't expecting it to be this difficult to score. There we go. I thought for a brief second when we shot the ball, I thought we'd miss. So that's good. It's about to be halftime. 2 minutes of extra time. So I know Alzad Alkmaar can score against us. They've proven that they've done it. So um, I want to at least get another goal before the game ends. So we're not going to get it before halftime. I'll make the substitution later. As we score there with Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. She thought we'd miss with that one as well, so. Excuse me for yawning. So let's go ahead and make our second substitution of the game. Let's have Olerga come out. We need to have like a back. We need to have a back as our. On the bench for some substitutes. We don't have we just have forwards and midfielders, which I mean, and a goalie, which I actually don't mind having at least one goalie and at least some forwards and midfielders because you need those, but you need backs as well in case a back unfortunately gets injured. So. Let's see. You're up 3-1, so we do not have to worry about them scoring to tie the game or take the lead with the next goal they score. If they score, I don't want them to score. Don't get me wrong, but if we give up a goal, it's not the end of the world, and we don't lose points if they score, because it'll still be 3-2. Now, if they score twice, then we'll lose points, because if the game ends at a 3-3 draw, we will actually only get 1 point instead of 3. Offside. So, once the ball is in play, which it is now, I'm going to have Klaas-Jan Huntelaar come off. Let's leave Suarez on. Let's have... I don't know how to pronounce his name. If I attempted, I'd probably get it wrong, so... Oh, okay, that's a good defense right there by Romero. So Suarez has possession, had possession. That's not even near the goal. Oh well. That was way off, so that should be our final substitution of the game. We are out of substitutions, right? Yeah, we're out of substitutions. I mentioned the World Cup earlier. Whenever I'm playing a soccer game, I always talk about the World Cup, and at least since the end of the last World Cup, I wonder who's gonna make the World Cup for the first time, if any team will make it in 2026. And that's probably one of the first things I mention when I think of the World Cup. There are several teams I root for in the World Cup, at least to make the World Cup. England, the U.S., Trinidad and Tobago, Portugal, France, Spain, and the Netherlands are the teams I root for. And that's because I'm of Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, and French descent, so I'll always root for those teams. I'm of Trinidadian descent as well, so I'll always root for Trinidad and Tobago. And I was born in England, and I'm a British citizen, so that's why I root for England. And I am an American citizen as well, so I root for America as well. But it would depend on who's playing. Like, of those teams, I'll always root for England first, because that's where I was born. And then probably Trinidad and Tobago second. So, for those of you that watch soccer, what teams do you support in terms of international soccer? Most people would just support one, so, like. I still remember the 2006 World Cup when Trinidad and Tobago. It was the first and only time Trinidad and Tobago qualified for the World Cup. And family and I were very happy for them. I was 11 when it happened. So I remember watching one of their games, and I remember I was at the post office when they played their first game in the World Cup. I didn't watch the first game live, but I remember, and they drew, I think, with Sweden, if I remember correctly. I think they were in the same group with England and Paraguay, if I remember correctly, and they drew with England, and then they lost to Paraguay. No, they drew with Sweden, and then they lost to England and Paraguay, if I remember correctly. And yeah, because the first World Cup, first men's World Cup that happened when I was alive was 1998. But I was 3 when that happened, so I have no memory of it. Even if I was watching any of the games, I had no memory of it. So the next one was in 2002, and I vaguely remember I think it was the semifinals. It was either the semifinals or I know Brazil was playing one day, and I was on vacation somewhere, and we were getting ready to leave to go back home. And hold on, let me mute my mic for a second.
Here's a crossing position now. Oh, he's going to shoot. Still in play here. Momentary respite with a save. Still on the attack, and they've got a corner.
Right. So yeah, I remember leaving the hotel. I don't remember where I was on vacation, but I do remember the TV being on because I was 7 during that World Cup, and I think Brazil was playing. It was either Brazil. I know it was in like South Korea and Japan, and I think it was either South Korea, Turkey, or Brazil. One of those 3 teams were playing, and I just have vague memories of the game. So then in 2006, I remember Trinidad and Tobago Um, that memory, and then I remember the World Cup final in 2006 between Italy and France. I know because it was in Germany when it happened, and Zinedine Zidane headbutt an Italian player, and some words were exchanged prior to Zinedine and uh, the Italian player, and then he headbutted him. So it was Zinedine at least alleged that the Italian player said, if I remember correctly, said something insulting about a family member. I think his mother. I'm probably wrong about that. So, but I do remember the headbutt, though. So we're gonna have at least some subs, some backs on the bench to at least play. So I got some diet cheer wine with me as well. See, and then I remember watching the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, and I remember the Netherlands versus Spain, the final in the World Cup. Memories of England versus the U.S. as well. In that same tournament. And then I remember 2014. I remember being shocked at the scoreline in the semifinal match between Germany and Brazil. It wasn't. It was in Brazil when the tournament happened. Germany beating Brazil isn't necessarily surprising. It's the scoreline that was surprising, and the scoreline was 7-1 in that game. That's what was surprising about the game. Not necessarily Germany beating Brazil, because on any given day, Brazil could beat Germany or Germany could beat Brazil if they were to play in an international game. It's not, it could go either way. It's just the score was shocking, and that was the most shocking thing of the tournament for me. 2018 in Russia, I remember the final between France and Croatia. I'm glad France won, but I was also, I remember feeling a bit disappointed that Croatia didn't win because they were like, no one expected Croatia to go that far. But I was happy that France won. In 2022, I remember, and that was in Qatar. No one expected Morocco. Maybe outside of Morocco, no one outside of Morocco maybe expected the country to make it to the Final Four, to finish in fourth place, which, they didn't. To finish in fourth place, it's not bad in a World Cup tournament. It's not bad. I mean, you didn't finish in the top three, but you didn't finish, dead last, and it's hard to make it that far, especially when no one expects you to get that far into the tournament. So I remember, at least here in the US, when I was online or watching any sports show after, people were talking, after every game, regardless of the score, people were saying, okay, Morocco may have drawn or won this game in the group stage, or when the knockout stages happened, okay, around the 16 quarterfinals, they won this game, but there's no way they're going to win the next one. Lo and behold, they won the next one. And they just kept on doing better than everyone expected. So it's you like seeing team, personally, unless it's a team you really support, you really like seeing teams you don't expect do well against teams you expect to do well. So I can understand if it's a team you support wanting to be a team doing better than everyone expected. Like if England were to play against a team that no one expected to do well but is doing well, I can understand why people would root against England. So yeah. Because I know I root for England the most. Didn't joke with my immediate family that, uh, I was the we were all born in different countries, so which is I think unusual. And I often joke with my immediate family, my sibling and my parents that I was the only one born in a country that has won a World Cup. So I often just tease them for that fact. So granted, I wasn't alive when England won the World Cup in 1966. I was born 39 years after the fact, but I lived in England for like the first 18 months of my life before moving to the US. Hence why I have an American accent and not a British accent or an English accent, to be more specific. But I did live in England for about 3 months, roughly a little over 3 months, or maybe 3.5 months last year. I was in university, for those of you that don't know. And I was studying to become a teacher, but I decided being a teacher wasn't the right career option for me. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind working with kids. It's just the work-life balance being a teacher something I would isn't exactly something that would that I didn't really think about before applying for the course. And it's a little more work and there's not enough work-life balance. So that's something I wasn't really too keen on. So, and it's an important job you have to take seriously, which I actually didn't mind taking seriously. It's just, and then on top of that, it can be pretty stressful. The working with the kids aspect isn't stressful. It's just their education is important, understandably important. So that can be just the amount of pressure you're under to make sure kids are they're understanding the work, and they are understanding the work, and they're just developing the knowledge and skills at are at the right age, and they're developing it appropriately. If that makes any sense. To make sure they're understanding the work, they can read properly, they can write at the appropriate level, they can read at the appropriate level, they're not falling behind, and if unfortunately if any kid has any learning disabilities, you want to make sure they're getting the extra support and help that they need, to overcome their disabilities. So the amount of stress that entails, I don't think it would be the right job for me, so. So. Alright, let's make some subs now. We are up 1-0. So let's have Vanderweel in. Let's have Sati in for Anita, and then we can have Leonardo come out for De Jong. So I know De Jong is a common Dutch last name, but I wonder if he's related to Luke De Jong. Because I know that remember watching like Ajax play against someone that had another like Frankie De Jong, and I thought he and Luke De Jong were related. I think that the young player's name is Frankie De Jong, but nope, they're not related. It's just a really common, really common last name in Holland. Like here in the U.S., you'll find a lot of people with the last name Johnson or Rodriguez or Smith or Taylor, you know, or Adams. Those are like common last names here in the U.S. So. I'd imagine that due to the sheer population that, for the most common surname in the world would be in India or China, due to the amount of people living there. Because I know the U.S. is the third most populous country, and we have over 300 million people here. But China and India are in the top two, and they each have over a billion people. So I'd imagine that either country has the most common last name used, even if it's not used, even if, common last names are not distributed evenly over the world, if that makes any sense. We are playing Willem Twee, and that is their proper name, Willem Twee. I don't speak Dutch, but I know a couple words in Dutch, and I've been listening to the Dutch pronunciations of, or at least the English pronunciations of how you pronounce the Dutch team names, like Groningen, Willem Twee, not Wilhelm II, but Willem Twee is the proper pronunciation. Then you have FC Twente, not 20, but Twente. It's another Dutch club. And then Ajax instead of Ajax. Believe me, there are people that would mispronounce the name, so. Or Feyenoord. Which I think that's. It's about like how you pronounce it. Well, yeah. And then, when I lived in England, I learned some pronunciation of British cities that I did not know, because I knew of most British English cities pronunciation, like there's a suburb of London called Chiswick, because I pronounce it as Chiswick, but people that live there told me it was Chiswick, so. And then Portsmouth instead of Portsmouth. So, but hey, I know America has some, like, I often hear like the English pronounce it like the city of St. Louis, Missouri is St. Louis, but it's not St. Louis, it's St. Louis. So it's like that as well. So sure, if you were to ask me to pronounce any name as the Dutch would pronounce it, I would not be able to. I'll admit that. There are, you're to, there are a lot of Chinese, cities in China that I'd have trouble pronouncing. I mentioned China because that's, Mandarin is spoken there, and that's obviously a completely different language, but it's vastly different than English, the way English is spoken. Because I know Dutch Dutch is somewhat similar to German, but it's also like somewhere similar to English. But the Dutch, you kind of use more of your throat. I know Dutch and German, you use more of your throat to pronounce words. If that makes sense, I'm not sure if it does, but I know there are words in Dutch that are very similar to English, like milk, and in English it's milk, like MELK in Dutch. So it's like Dutch. The way I heard it described is like if you're learning German, it's like Dutch is like halfway between English and German, like half English, half German. So if that makes any sense, a comment. Maybe not. Oh wait, I cannot believe we're allowed to go there. Like halfway between English and German in terms of like the language family. If that makes any sense. I know Portuguese and Italian sound similar to me. I'm not sure actually how similar they are, but when I heard people speak Portuguese, and I've been to Italy, and both language Portuguese and Italian sound similar, and I don't speak either language. Spanish and French sound a bit similar to me, or at least the words are. I wonder, like, what's the closest related language to each language? Like, what's the closest? Like, what's the easiest language to learn if you're like an English speaker? Like, so I know, like, if you're like native Mandarin speaker, learning English would be very hard, and vice versa. If like a native English speaker, you're trying to learn Mandarin. Whereas if you're a native English speaker, it'd be like easier to learn, um, English. It'd be if you're like, if you're a native English speaker, I've been told like it's easier to learn like French or Spanish than it is to learn something like Mandarin or Korean. So, I'm gonna play FC Volendam next. It's gonna be another away game. You can leave Luis Suarez in. Um, have Martina in, or at least off the bench, and Schalder off the bench as well. And Vanderweel can be on the bench as well. So Getinar in for Stecklenburg, and those are going to be the only changes we'll make for the lineup. Remember, you know, when I was growing up, so the first sports game I got was like NBA Live 07. It's either that or Madden NFL 06, one of those. Think Madden NFL 06, and then NBA Live 07, and then FIFA is actually the next sports game I bought for the very first time. Or at least, maybe not bought, but at least I played for the very first time. And then maybe in the NHL series. Or I'm not sure if it was FIFA or the MLB The Show series when I... Because growing up, I didn't have an Xbox 360. I actually didn't get it at the Xbox 360 or the Xbox until... I never owned the original Xbox, but I first got the Xbox 360 for Christmas when I was 15. So I had a PS2 growing up. So it's like MLB The Show, NBA Live, and Madden were like the first three sports games, and then FIFA I think was there as well, and then NHL. The NHL series was like the last. The NHL game was like the last one I tried of the four major sports. FIFA is really like I didn't really play PES a ton growing up. don't really remember playing PES at all, actually, until maybe I was like in my 20s, actually. So it's just really just FIFA that I played as a kid, the soccer games. So like I've since gone some of the PES games. I've gone PES 2008. I played PES. I know PES 2019. I think 2018 or 2019, and I've owned 2018 in the past. Um, but other than the yearly FIFA games, there's just like the FIFA World Cup games. 2010 and 2014 were the ones I played, or like 2010 as a teenager and 2014 as a teenage adult. When I was an adult, I was 19 when the 2014 World Cup game came out. So, um, I didn't really play MLB 2K until MLB 2K10. Actually, if I'm being honest. But I played MLB 08, MLB 09, and MLB 10 to show as a teenager. They no longer make 2K no longer makes MLB 2K10. So actually, I got the Xbox 360, and then I got the Xbox One and got the Xbox Series S. So in between MLB 2K13 and when Sony eventually put the MLB The Show series on the Xbox for MLB in 2021, for about 8 or 9 years, I did not own a. 8 or 9 years, there wasn't a regular, or I wasn't buying baseball games, even though the RBI series was being released for the majority of that time. But I do have the RBI. I do have a couple of RBI games. I have RBI Baseball 21 and RBI Baseball 18. So. And I actually got Backyard Sandlot Sluggers, I think last year or the year before. It's been a while since I played that, but I will play that. So I no longer own MLB The Show 08, 09, or 10, but I do own MLB The Show 21 through 23, and I have access to 24 through MLB The Show Game Pass, or through Xbox Game Pass, actually. But when it's leaving Xbox Game Pass, I'll actually purchase MLB The Show 24. And I have every MLB 2K since from MLB 2K7 to the very last MLB 2K, which is MLB 2K13. I may not actually have MLB 2K11, actually. So maybe not every MLB 2K since MLB 2K7. Ah, shit, we scored. Pardon my language. Actually, I did not like NBA Live 08 was the first game, or NBA Live 07 was the first NBA Live I bought. And I played every NBA Live 08. I played every NBA Live since from 07 to maybe about 09 or 08. Those two, and then I bought like NBA 2K10 actually. And I played the college basketball series since NCAA March Madness 08, so growing up. Or at least since 09. Oh, we missed, so it's another. They no longer make the NCAA basketball series though. But I have most of the NCAA football games released on the that EA released for the Xbox consoles. I'm missing NCAA. Excuse me. I'm missing NCAA missing NCAA Football 07 and NCAA Football 13. Those are the only two ones I'm missing. The others I have either on the disc or the downloaded, including EA Sports College Football 25. And I have every Madden, actually. Well, I have every Madden on the Xbox 360. Nearly every Madden. I think the last release Madden I have on the 360 was either 25 or 13, which I have both of those. Whichever one was the most recent was the one I have. So, and then I have Madden NFL 25, the 2024 version. They should have just called the one that was released this year Madden NFL 2025, because they called Madden NFL 25. The 2013 version was the one released. That was like titled the 25th. They named it Madden NFL 25 as the 25th anniversary, after the 25th anniversary of Madden, but it's confusing. So, but I have played every Madden though since Madden NFL 06. On my Xbox profile. And I played every NCAA football since NCAA football await on my Xbox profile. I just don't own every Madden or every NCAA football. And I don't own every NCAA basketball game either. So that's good work. So I would like to get every Madden and every NCAA football released on the Xbox consoles. And every FIFA. Because for FIFA, I'm missing FIFA 07 on the Xbox 360. And then a bunch of the newer FIFAs, like since FIFA. I have every FIFA from FIFA 08 to FIFA 13. And I have FIFA 06. And I have every FIFA World Cup game released on the Xbox 360. But from FIFA, I'm missing FIFA 07 and then every FIFA from FIFA 14 to I think FIFA 19 I'm missing. And I have every NHL game since NHL 21. Let's go ahead and make some substitutions actually. I just remember that as well. Put in Stecklenburg. And Underwood can come in for Manuelson. And then Martina can come in as our last substitution for Sulejmani. But I played most, or at least about half of the NHL's released since the Xbox 360 came out. I really love sports games, if you haven't noticed. So I played every college hoops game released on the 360. They don't. After 2K8, Take-Two Interactive stopped making college hoops games. So, which is rather unfortunate because I preferred the NCAA basketball series that EA did, but the college hoops 2K games weren't bad. EA stopped making some games that I really enjoyed. Because FIFA was rebranded with EA Sports FC. Because the FIFA declined to renew the license with EA. That's the one thing I hate, is that EA would actually have, when a lot of times they'd sign these exclusive deals with these sports leagues to exclusively own the rights to make games, and that's just bad competition-wise for sports games, so there's little to no innovation, because there's little to no need for innovation, because if you want to play an NFL game, really the only NFL game you can get is the Madden NFL series. Otherwise you have to buy, these games that don't have any official football teams in them. If you want to play an NCAA college football game, you have to the EA Sports College Football Series. So that's the only downside. Another downside is the amount of microtransactions that EA tends to put in their games. I guess it's really more so pay to win in sports games than I know for Star Wars, the Star Wars Battlefront series, it was really pay to win. And there's some controversy on Reddit that involved the Star Wars Battlefront 2. And which is understandable that people are upset with EA for the pay to win aspect, so I don't necessarily mind microtransactions if it's for cosmetic items or items that you can not unlock in the game. I can understand that. But if it's like what annoys me, I guess, is that I'm kind of I kind of understand why people companies will put in cosmetic items, that you can't unlock in the game that really offer no value to the game or little to no value to the game. Other than, that you can't unlock in the game. So I can understand that. Or maybe the developers did not have enough time, like the studio or the EA probably didn't give the developers enough time to actually put in everything the developers wanted in the game or was promised in the game. They didn't have enough time. I can understand, putting that as behind a paywall, like a DLC or microtransaction. I can understand that. I don't fault the developers. I don't fault the developers for implementing that. If they didn't have enough time to put stuff in the game. Even if you can unlock it, I don't necessarily mind. If they didn't have enough time to put it in, if it's what I'm trying to say. But the pay to win aspect, which I can understand, if some aspects, some of the game that that didn't have enough time. It's annoying, but I can understand why. But the pay to win aspect I don't like. Because it's really unfair to those that, can't afford to pay to unlock all the good stuff in the game. If you're playing a game like Star Wars Battlefront 2 or any of the Call of Duty games, and you can't afford to buy all the cool new stuff to help you win. I think that's unfair to those that, can't afford to buy anything. Or maybe they can, but, they can't afford to buy everything in the game. So the pay to win aspect I'm not a fan of. So I think it's unfair to those that maybe don't have enough time to grind the aspect to purchase to unlock everything, and maybe if you maybe you're like me and you can't afford to unlock everything that you want to unlock in the game, or you can't pay for it. So I can understand why people get upset about that. So we're 9-0. Our next game is against Sparta Rotterdam. The one thing that annoys me is I'm actually supportive of companies that want people to play their games. And that actually, to an extent want them to grind to unlock stuff. It's just if they're planning on making it a series, like if it's a yearly series like Call of Duty is, I can understand why people are upset. And heck, even if it's like, they were planning on intentionally releasing it like every several years like EA did with Star Wars. I can understand why people are upset over the grinding aspect of it. Because they have to. There's some controversy that a lot of the heroes and villains that could help you win games, a lot of people wanted to play as. You had to spend like 40 hours of in-game time to unlock like a single hero or villain in Star Wars Battlefront 2. And they're like, I'm not sure how many there were, maybe 10, 20 heroes and villains, so multiply that by 40 hours, and that's how many you have to spend to, that's how much time you have to actually spend to unlock just one character that can help you play better. So I can understand why that was hidden behind. I can understand, people being upset about the amount of time they have to invest in order to actually, unlock. Especially since EA was planning on making it a series released every couple of years. Not everyone has the time to play to unlock all the good characters. So I can understand why people were, upset that, just 40 hours for a single character that can help you is I think unreasonable. And you make that for like every of all the characters that can, all the good characters. I can understand why people are upset. 40 hours for just one, and they're like 10, 15, 20, 30 that you want to unlock. That you want to unlock. So like multiply 10, 15, maybe 30. I'm not sure how many people there are in the game, but multiply that by 40. That's perfectly. That's maybe like 400 hours at least. Maybe 500 hours. Not everyone has, that kind of time to invest into a single game. Let alone a game that's gonna be what you intend to make as a series. So I can understand where EA is coming from in terms of wanting to have like a sense of pride and accomplishment. I know because a lot of people weren't happy because the EA responded they for the 40 hours to unlock a single character. People wanted EA stated they wanted their player base to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment in terms of unlocking the player or a character, and I can understand where they're coming from. But I think that they also I can understand, because when you, personally as a gamer, when I unlock something as a character, when I accomplish something in the game, there is a sense of pride and accomplishment that I achieved something in the game, whether it be an achievement on the Xbox consoles or just getting to the next chapter of a story, or just completing a difficult part of the game, or unlocking something that I spent time in. Unlocking a character, like there's a sense of pride and accomplishment that I can, that I get when I accomplish something in a game, a goal I'm in a game. And I can understand where they're coming from, but I think it's unreasonable. The 40 hours for a single character when you have like a lot of them. Again, I don't know how many, but a lot. Is unreasonable, I think. So the sense of, I can understand maybe if it's like, I don't know, I don't know what it would be like for the average gamer, because a lot of time you have to take into account that for the average player base may not have 40 hours to spend on a single game to unlock and I'm just talking specifically about Black Ops 2, or not Black Ops 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, which came out like 8 years ago. So not everyone has actually I'd argue maybe like the vast majority of people that played Star Wars Battlefront 2, I think it'd be fair to assume that they don't have 40 hours to spend to unlock a single character. Heck, I know when it came out in 2018, I didn't have that enough time. I didn't have that. I think it was 2018. I didn't have that kind of time. I was in university at the time. I didn't have 40 hours, you know, to spend to unlock a single character. And I had one of the easier, in a sense, one of the easier degrees to get, and that's mass communication, where all I had to do was make films, or be part of a film crew. So, and I had one of the easier degrees to get in terms of workload. So, you have to keep in mind, people are in school. A lot of your player base could be in school. They could be, could be, part of a club at school. They could be a part of a sports team. They could have they could be, in university where they have a lot of work to do, a lot of schoolwork, a lot of time to study. Because like when Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out, I was primarily doing my courses related to mass communication. So there wasn't very, there like the only homework I did were like projects I had to do outside of class. Group projects. So you had to, so I didn't really have to like study for very many tests, if any at all. I think I only had like a handful of tests for my mass communication subjects. So a lot of the time I actually was spent, making short films. A lot of times outside of class was spending either spending time making short films, or just making videos for my YouTube channel, like gaming related videos. So I had a lot more time than the average college student. But like if someone's studying like medicine or law or studying to be a teacher, they're not gonna have a lot of time. In university, they're not gonna have a lot of time to actually play a game that they want to play, let alone spend X amount of time trying to accomplish something. So I can understand why people are upset. Then I can also understand, like, if you're a high school or elementary student, you have homework to do, or maybe you're part of a sports team as well. In school or at university as well. And then on top of that, if you're an adult, you could be in university and you have work to do. You have homework to do, you have tests to study for, you have exams, group projects. You could also, if you're out of university and you enjoy playing video games, you could be, you could have a job. You could have you're at the work for a lot of your day. You have, you could have a family. You could have, you have your family to think of. You have kids. There are a lot of factors to think of in terms of the player base. So I can understand maybe like, not everyone has like 40 hours. So I can maybe, I don't know what like the right balance for like the amount of time to spend on unlocking something in a game instead of paying for it, and finding the right balance, like the appropriate amount of hours. But like for the average person, for the average gamer, because like 40 hours is just too much. Now if it was like 40 hours to complete a single game, to an extent I can understand that. If it's like a story mode game, to an extent I can understand that. Because no one's going to spend like 40 hours a week playing a single game unless they're like a Twitch streamer or a YouTube streamer. Or maybe, you're a kid and you're on like summer vacation. You're probably not going to spend like 40 hours a week. playing a game, or you're working in the video game industry, and chances are you're not going to spend 40, because that's like 5-day work week where most people are working. That's just the average work week. So I don't know. I get why people are upset with EA, and I can understand why there's backlash now. So in that specific, I know EA is. I just use EA as an example because EA is one of the more hated video game companies out there right now, and Activision is another one. My main, because my main issue is just having stuff behind having the pay to win aspects. Just unlike I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. I play Call of Duty a lot, and I can understand the DLC having DLCs. Behind a paywall, they maybe like a season pass. That's reasonably priced. They're making the DLC reasonably priced as well. I can understand that. Maybe the developers didn't have enough time to actually uh did not have enough time to actually implement make it the DLC during the natural life cycle of the game, because the Call of Duty is made just about every year, so. And it's like Activision's main source of income as well, so I can kind of understand why they release it every year. But and I'm okay with cosmetic items. Items that add little to no value. That don't really do any. That really don't affect the gameplay. Don't really make you chances of winning or losing a game better or worse. I can understand putting that kind of stuff in. I can understand putting that kind of stuff in the game. Like, oh, you have there's a new, like for Fortnite, there's a new type of skin for your player that has no value. Just like Fortnite, for example, does crossovers with a lot of pop culture. Okay, let's say Fortnite has another WWE collaboration, and they put in wrestlers, and where you can play as a wrestler in Fortnite as your character. That really adds no value to the game. So, like that, it has no value in the sense that it doesn't affect your chances of winning or losing a match in Fortnite. It literally does nothing other than making your character look cool. So that I can understand. That I'm lenient toward in terms of helping the studios and helping the developers and people that worked on the game make extra money. That I'm okay with. That's perfectly fine. That doesn't affect my chances of winning or losing a game. It doesn't really affect your chance. So I'm perfectly okay with that. But if you're like, even if it's like, I'm okay with that. Even if you can unlock stuff like cosmetic items for the game, I'm okay with it having it behind a paywall. For those that want to spend money on it and can. Purely cosmetic items. But if it's like in Fortnite, where it's a battle royale mode where you have to survive as long as possible, and say you're used to playing a certain way, or there's like a certain weapon that can help you survive longer in the game, that if Epic Games were to implement a system where they would actually have your ability to like lose damage reduced, that would actually genuinely make me a bit more frustrated because, and I wouldn't be, because you're making it harder for the average gamer to win, and they may not have the kind of money to, pay for the, extra weapons or the better weapons, or to actually, if you were to implement like a loot box system where you could unlock weapons, if all the good weapons are like, they can't, that, or any good weapon they have to pay for to actually just, they can't find in the game. That's where I draw the line, stuff like that affects your chances of winning. So, and then NBA 2K, I love NBA 2K. I think to an extent they do the grinding aspect of it right when if you ever play the My Career mode, and where you have to play games to make it's like a career mode for your player. And essentially in the career mode, you're essentially given, virtual currency to play to make your character better after each game. So, and the more you play, the better, the more you play your character. In my career, the more you play as your character, and the better you do in the game, the more VC you will earn, the more XP you earn to spend on your character. So that they do it right. It's just at the same time there's a little more grindy. At the same time, what I don't like is the microtransactions where you can spend like $99 on like, 100,000. I'm just using $99 as an example. It's like $99, and you can get like 100,000 VC, and that can get you up to 90, an overall 90. You can spend that and make your character instantly the best. You can max out all his attributes. That's what I don't like. So like those that can afford to get basically the XP can play through winning or doing well in the game, or you can just buy it. And if you were to buy all the XP and and then just instantly boom, you can actually play against other people online, and your character is 99 overall. And I just bought the game today. If I were to just buy a game today, if I were to buy the latest NBA 2K game today, and boom, my player's at the lowest level, the standard like 60 overall, and your player's at 99, and you can afford to buy it. That's just unfair, in my opinion. So now I bought NBA 2K when it first came out, but I don't really. I play like once. I don't play as much as I did the previous two games when they came out. So my NBA 2K rating in 2K25 is not as high as it was around this time when the previous 2K games came out. Maybe except for last year. Maybe it's lower than it was last year for 2K24 because even with because I played it significantly less than I did last year, and I was in university last year. Just because there have been other games I've been interested in. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy NBA 2K. It's just there are other, like I'm sure by now, in like prior to 2K, from like whenever I'd play like NBA 2K12 or to NBA 2K23 when I do the My Career mode, I'm sure I would be in maybe the 70s or 80s overall now, instead of the standard 60 overall. When it'll come out in like every September, by the time November the 13th would roll around, which it is now, I'd probably be in the 70s overall. Maybe the 80s depending on the year it came out and, you know, how much schoolwork I had. Because I think I've only bought virtual currency for NBA 2K maybe twice in my lifetime. I just need to plug in my charger now. Bear with me. I bought virtual currency twice in my lifetime, and that was like $9.99 or like $14.99. And the only time I did that was actually for NBA 2K16 and I think NBA 2K18 or NBA 2K19. And that's the only time those are the only times I ever bought virtual currency, so. And, or NBA 2K20, maybe that. I know for sure 2K16 and maybe 2K20 or 2K18. But only twice, so. Let's see. I've never, like, paid EA for any loot boxes or any pay-to-win stuff in any EA game. For, like, FIFA or NBA 2K, or NBA Live, or Star Wars or anything like that. I have paid for DLC, actually, for games like Call of Duty before they actually used to offer the DLC for free, which they didn't have, which Activision didn't have to do, but I appreciate, because Activision now offers DLC for free, I think. But they used to like have you buy like the season passes for, or you'd have to buy each DLC individually, or like the season pass. So look, I'd always buy the season pass for any Call of Duty game that had Call of Duty Zombies in it. Just so I could get access to the Call of Duty Zombies game. Just because I love Call of Duty Zombies. I love just surviving as long as I can. Call of Duty Zombies. So I'd always buy the DLC. I'd always buy the season pass for that. And I can understand that if they didn't like have enough time, so. Suarez is sadly injured. So I have to take Luis Suarez out. Let's put in Matea. Let's actually have Luke Young come in for Gabri. So yeah, for like, just off the top of my head, Activision, like the Call of Duty series is the one series that I can think of off the top of my head that I bought DLC for, and then I bought the Life is Strange DLC as well. I'm not sure. I think it's Square Enix and Dotnod are the two companies that I know work on the game. So, although I've yet to buy the Life is Strange 2 DLC despite playing the game, that's because it was on Xbox Game Pass when I first played Life is Strange 2. So they had the DLC available for download. So I was paying extra for the subscription, so I was able to get the DLC and play it. So, and then Telltale's The Walking Dead series, I've played all of the DLC, but that's because it's available on the Game Pass subscription. So. It's still available at the time of this recording. Life is Strange. Now, if I want to play Life is Strange, I can only do the first episode of it. I can't do any of the DLC because I have to purchase it. But I know for Life is Strange True Colors, I think I purchased the DLC for it. I know I have for Life is Strange The Quiet Before the Storm, I have the DLC as well. Those are the only two games I can think of that I purchased the DLC for off the top of my head. And then twice NBA 2K I purchased DLC for. And Call of Duty I purchased DLC for every Call of Duty game that has zombies in it, I've purchased the season pass to get the zombies maps to it. And maybe one of the Assassin's Creed as well. I've played the first two Assassin's Creed. And I think one of them I had to buy DLC for, and to like at least complete the game or at least understand the story, and I did that, so I didn't actually mind doing that. So, but that was like years and years after uh, Assassin's Creed was released, and I'm not sure why they did that. So. Forza would actually, if I know the Forza Motorsport series, if they were ever to put the DLC back for that game, I actually wouldn't mind paying for that as well, because it's just a bunch of cars and maps that you can't unlock throughout the normal means. The Assassin's Creed, to an extent, I do mind, but I just want to know why it was made available for DLC before I want to know the reasoning why a certain chapter 2 was made available for purchase for DLC. Like, did they not have enough time to install it, or were they just being greedy? Like, what was the reasoning behind the chapter for being DLC? But yeah, like, sports games, I try to avoid paying extra money for it to make my character even better when I'm doing the career mode. I think it's a waste of money to do that because sports games are being released on a yearly basis. So realistically, you can only enjoy it for 1 year. And on top of that, I'm on the Xbox consoles. And the one thing Microsoft does that I hate is that for a lot of these games, you have to. Well, for NBA 2K, I definitely try to avoid it now because NBA 2K, they shut down the servers, and you really can't you can't do my career on the NBA 2K servers once the servers are shut down on the Xbox consoles. And I'm not sure if that's the same for like PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch. But on the Xbox consoles, for the Xbox One and Xbox Series S, you can't do the My Career anymore once the servers are shut down. And I really enjoy the My Career mode because actually I find the My Career mode a bit harder to progress on in the 360 era for the 2K games, but you can play the My Career mode. Which what is in terms of the franchise, they have the association mode on the for any NBA 2K games that were released on the 360 games, and I prefer playing the association mode to the My Career mode on the 360. But I prefer the My Career mode over the My GM mode and the My League mode, which has replaced the association mode. So that's something I hate. You can no longer access that. So like for Madden, completely makes no difference. You can do the face of the franchise mode offline and a franchise mode offline, which I'm not sure. I know is long shot in like Madden NFL 18, 19, 17, somewhere around there. And after that, you can just create it doesn't really matter. Sorry, yeah, that was the audio. the game I made my TV. I'm just gonna quickly turn on my light because it is really dark. I'm gonna close my blinds as well. Like for EA, they have the progress. At least I think they do. I never really looked into it for the NHL mode. Um, Maybe they have the same pay to win aspect, but I don't really. I've never spent any money on NHL games, so other than like purchasing the game itself, I've like any microtransactions. I didn't really. So yeah, I usually try to avoid for sports games. I usually try to avoid microtransactions. Really, outside of the WWE series, I try to avoid it because it's just a waste of money. With WWE, my thinking is that, for sports games, I haven't done it every year. I've only done it like a handful of years. And I can kind of understand it because once they remove it from you really have to play a lot. And you either have to buy the DLC, like the season pass, the DLC, which I'm alright doing, or you have to play it a lot. And I don't play it a lot I don't play it as much as I used to. So I'd be able to earn. I used to be able to unlock it when I played it more, but now I don't. So I can kind of understand why people do it for WWE to unlock the characters, because once the servers are shut down, you really can't the you really can't get the DLC anymore. So I can kind of understand that. The characters you want to download. And then the maps for the racing games as well. I can kind of understand wanting to get extra maps or extra cars, before the servers are shut down. Like Forza Motorsport 6, I've completed the campaign mode, what they call the career mode, essentially. And they shut down the servers several years ago, so there's DLC for the game that I wanted, but I just didn't really get. I didn't really think about getting because I was so focused on completing the campaign mode, or the career mode, or whatever it's called, that I never really just looked at it, and now I regret not getting it. So. Job security is pretty good, actually. I think I'm actually going to end the stream here and end my video here because it's getting really late. So goal differential's 50, so we have what look at that, SC Heerenveen's ahead of Feyenoord. I know Otto Den Haag and the Graafschap are in the Eerste Divisie in real life. Same with I think NEC Breda and Roda JCR in the Eerste Divisie as well. Look at the top 20s. So I spend more time talking than focusing on the game, but I haven't lost the game at all. So I'm probably off camera gonna make sure the difficulty set to 29 goals for Class 1 Hohenschlager. So I'm gonna make sure it's set to make sure it's been set to semi-pro, and if it has been set to semi-pro, I'm gonna make it set to professional and just see how I do there and see where I go on. So I just want to take a look at the player stats so far. Sebastian Huntelaar has 29 goals in 9 games. That's about 3 a game, a little more than 3 goals a game. Armadale has 5 goals in 5 games, so he is averaging a goal a game. Leonardo was just averaging just under a goal a game. Let's see who else is. And then Manuchiarin. Yarin? I'm sorry, I butchered his name. It's Manucharyan, who's from Armenia, has 2 goals in 2 games, so he's averaging a goal every game he's played in. Not expect him to be Dutch. I thought he'd maybe be from a Latin American country, or Spanish country, or Portuguese, or Not expect Dario to be an Argentinian citizen. Another player I wanted to Sarpong. He's probably of Indonesian descent. If he's probably, I could be wrong. So Nitsa. Yeah, so anyway, he played 11 games. Office. Sponsor details. Finishing the top half. We're on our way to doing that. Win a domestic cup. We're on our way to doing that. And we're on our way to becoming league champions as well. 2008 through present, we are 11 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Manager prestige is 2 out of 10. Yeah, I really can't complain. So I know I stopped streaming on Twitch, so yeah, I'm gonna hop off, y'all. Thanks for watching and bye.